I'd like to talk now about articulations and our ability as a conductor to understand why the composer placed that articulation, what they wished to accomplish, how they wanted it to affect the music, and to, in a sense, help clarify and define musical interpretation. So our ability to actually demonstrate an articulation is important in our conducting technique. Now, I'd like for you for a moment to consider, what do these articulations, staccato, tenuto, accento, marcato, slur, tie, and their various combinations, what do they have in common? Well, what they have in common is that there's no definitive definition for any of them. We're not really quite sure. We know that staccato, it means to do something, and we know that tenuto, likewise, all of these are going to do things. Slur connects two or more notes of different pitch, and the tie connects two more pitches of same pitch. But when Francis Macbeth, in his book Band Performance, asked 10 educated conductors what these meant, none of them could find a common ground. And so we are basically, in a sense, left up to the second thing that they have in common, which is they can only be defined by the context in which they appear. So we have to understand the character of the music through its rhythmic and harmonic structures and the overall nature of the music to determine how these should be conveyed to our ensemble. One of the beautiful things, however, when we look at these things, is that they look like they sound. Look at all the space around that dot. Staccato doesn't mean short, it means to separate or detach. And surely you can see all the space around that dot. The tenuto, a long line, but it's only so long, so it also is separated by space. And what we do with that in a musical context, whether it's leaning, whether it's lingering, whether it's pushing, or whether it's lifting. Accento is a beautiful example of this form looking like it sounds. Broad, ending in a point. Ba. This one, landing on a solid base and ending in a point upward. Ba. The slur is not just connecting two or more notes of different pitch. It means to lean on that first note. T-da, T-da, T. That's the important. And a tie is kind of like, in a sense, one of these. It means that this first note gets more emphasis than that second note. Of course, we also use ties to connect notes across bar lines. That's important too. But it will be also a part of a concept of syncopation. All of these things are interacting in syncopation. So we have the ability to actually demonstrate outside of the context what these things might look like for you to practice. This is a neutral version, conducting version of tenuto. Ta, 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 ta. This is a neutral rendition of staccato. Watch the tip, how the tip actually flicks as if there was a drop of oil or water I'm trying to remove off with the staccato gesture. Ta, 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 ta. You can see the little flick. Now we're going to take a look at the accent, the accento. Ta, 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 ta. What I'm trying to create in the ensemble's mind is that broad to a point, broad approach to a point. Ta, ta, ta. Now the marcato, in a sense, is just the opposite of the staccato. We're going to feel the full weight of the forearm coming down for that broad-based marcato. Ta, 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 ta. And then we, of course, have the slurs and the ties. I'm going to leave that exercise for you because you can work on those in your band's method book, especially if you're working with beginning or intermediate band method books where you get a chance to actually practice yourself conveying to your young musicians how to approach these slurs and ties. But you also work on your accents, you can work on your tenutos, you can work on your staccatos, and you can work on your marcatos as well. The beginning band book is a wonderful place to get a chance to practice your ability to deliver and impart these articulations.